What do you remember most about how your family talked or didn't talk about money during the early 1980s?
I remember a lot from that period, and it was mostly about what money could buy, like, the things I wanted, whether it was a Cabbage Patch doll. I remember those were way too expensive, but we each did get one. We just never, I think money was something you needed to save, something that you really had to think wisely about before you spent it, because you could make a mistake and then lose, waste your money. There was a lot of the talk about money was deliberating on how you could get the most for your money, or if you spent more to get like a freebie,
Like 2-for-1 deals or something?
yeah, like, or if something was on clearance and it was something you wanted, it was even better.
Were those deals related or started during the recession?
Well, I remember in the late 70s, early 80s, if you opened a bank account, the bank would often give you something like a toaster or a teddy bear.
A toaster?
Yeah, like a toaster oven or a teddy
So
bear, or like a
weird.
blender, or usually it was like a teddy bear or something. And so I always wanted one, that was a way to get a prize, I guess, for starting a bank account. So I would say that because it was a recession, we wanted to make our money go further. So it was a lot about how you could stretch your money and get the most for your money. But also in the 80s, there were things globally going on. It wasn't just a recession here. There were things that needed donations. So in Africa, they started a charity Feed the Children, and celebrities were raising money, so it was a thing that kids started getting in on too, was saving money to send to the children in Africa. Like, celebrities were, making records like Feed the World, and they would all, it was exciting because it was everyone's favorite singer was on there. When you bought something like the charity record with the song Feed the World, they would donate some of the proceeds, spend money to give money, and to get tax breaks. That was another thing that we talked to my family a lot about. But we also, amongst my dad's side of the family, it was also who had more money, kind of the bragging about what kind of car you had, or
like TV.
Right, what size TV you had, or if you're we never got it, but my cousins would brag because they had an Atari. They had the first video game system in our family. So or what kind of bike they had. So it was a competition between my dad's siblings of who could, who had the most money, and that money could kind of earn you respect.
Both of your parents were educators. Did their jobs feel stable to you as a kid? And if their stability, did that feel different to other kids' parents during the recession?
Their jobs felt stable. They always tried to pick up extra work, like teaching summer school or working somehow in the summer. My friends' parents had jobs that were kind of more glamorous, like more Hollywood or music type jobs.
Was that when you lived in Palisades?
Yeah, when we moved from right in the middle of the recession, or I guess right before the recession really hit, in the early 80s, we moved from Venice Beach to Pacific Palisades.
And so would you say most of your friends were of a
wealthier,
higher class?
Yes. Most of my friends were definitely of a higher class than me. Yeah, and I think too, we didn't waste a lot of money on food. If we went to eat out, we didn't get a drink. We only drink tap water because drinks add a lot of more money to your bill. We didn't get dessert very rarely. Like, we would just get the free lollipop on the way out. Like, I remember we just couldn't ask for extra things. Like, in the supermarket, we couldn't ask for gum or anything, because if you asked, then you were already in trouble.
Were there things your family stopped doing, bought less of, or changed because of money during that time?
In the early 80s, my parents divorced. So my dad had made more money than my mom, and he didn't have as many bills. So he didn't have alimony, and he just had to pay a couple $100 child support a month. And so my mom was always like, she didn't talk about money a lot, but we knew she didn't have tons of it. And every once in a while she would like feel bad and like splurge on stuff for us, like go buy us new clothes or shoes or whatever. But she liked us to have quality clothes and shoes, because maybe it costs a little more, but it would last longer and look better and just wear better. Whereas my dad was kind of like, oh, this is a good deal, and maybe it didn't look the best on you. My mom was very much like, buy the good fit and the good quality.
When the 2008 crash happened, what was your first sign that something was seriously wrong, and what did you do about it?
Okay, so it really hurt. It felt like somebody punched me in the stomach, because I did lose a lot of money in my retirement account. It had been doing really well, and it felt like exciting as, you know, a young professional. I'd been working about 10 years at that point, so I had definitely saved a substantial amount of money.
You lost all of the money in 10 years?
I didn't lose all of it.
What percent of it would you say?
I would say I lost like maybe 75% of the money. Yeah. And like, I want to say...
And that's because it was in a certain type of account?
Yeah. I want to say, like, when all was said and done, I only had like 25,000 left. And maybe I had saved, I don't know, 80,000, wow, 90,000. And it wasn't so much that I had saved that, it was just that that's what it was worth at the time. Mm-hmm. So if you think about, I think I was putting about $400 a month away, which at that time was a lot.
Yeah.
But, you know, it was, I didn't have as many bills, so that's the time you put more away.
As a teacher in California, how did the recession affect your classroom and your school? Layoffs, budget cuts, larger class sizes?
2008, maybe 2006, the LAUSD announced furlough days, and that just means that previously they were holidays that we got paid for. So we had paid holidays basically, and because times were hard, because the economy was not good, it was kind of this plea from the district to, like, we don't want to cut jobs, so we're going to pay for less vacation time. So I want to say, if my memory serves me correctly, it was about 14 days that they cut. So if you think about what your salary is, let's say you make $500 a day, and then you multiply that by 14, you know, you're talking about thousands of dollars. And that works for the district because they get to save, you know, that from each teacher. And not only teacher, but you think of like cafeteria workers, bus drivers, office staff, groundskeepers, personnel, HR. That means,
so would you say that was a good decision because it was saving so much money but it kept so many jobs, or would you say it was hurting people too
much? The thing that just always was the pebble under my skin, or pebble in my shoe, is that the idea was, or the tone, the implication was that when things got better in the economy, that we would get those days back. And we never did. We never did. So because we were trying to make a hard decision, we kind of just didn't fight for those days. Not only did we lay off workers, but we also got paid vacation days taken away that we never have gotten back. And they moved school, so we used to start in September, and they pushed an earlier start in August. Bush had come from Texas, and they had raised their reading scores. They had raised their test scores because they started like a month earlier. So they basically had a month earlier to prep.
Did that work for us?
I mean, yeah, because it just kind of levels the playing field in terms of the test is always going to be in the spring. So if you know that, then start earlier to prepare and do better.
And that also has to do with economics because the testing has to do with the funding.
Yes, exactly. The testing has to do with the funding. I think too at that time kind of became the celebrity teacher, in that teachers were starting to kind of brand themselves, I think. Teachers Pay Teachers is a website where you can pay to download lessons. So around that time is when Donors Choose, somebody thought of Donors Choose. And so then as a younger teacher, I was like, oh, I wanted to do all these projects. So, I applied for like a printer. To have a printer was a big thing. But the thing is that yes, you can raise money for these projects you really want to do and have a passion for. But it's a lot of work because you have to take the time to write the description.
And you're not getting paid for it.
And you're not getting paid for that. Yeah, I mean, no, because during the time you're being paid, you are teaching, So on your outside time, whether it's after school or weekends or whatever, you're writing, here's what I would do with it. And you're justifying and you're enticing people to give money. Title I schools with high populations of English learners, it changed from this idea of, oh, these pobrecitos, like these poor little children who have nothing, and really the change started coming from what they don't have to what their potential is, and that they deserve a future full of potential, including what they can earn.